Morning, guys. Mark Park Protect Dog Trainer. Now 6:37 in the morning workout. So when he comes out in the morning, he's super hungry, and I threw toys out here. He don't really care. His brain is also very active because they're just all excited to get out of the box. So we already went outside, went to the bathroom, and did that. And now we're gonna do a little bit of this. Now, what I'm noticing right off the bat is what's synonymous with the Dutchies. Very drivey, right? And then very into their senses. His nose and everything works. So when I pulled these hot dogs out this morning, right away he smelt them and he starts to get used to the routine of what's going on. So we've already just 2 days worth of doing this, and he's just all that and then some. You can get almost anything you want to out of a puppy like this and start making yourself look all like they're always bagging on the Malinois and stuff when they compete against other dogs out there that it's cheat code. Well, it is. These guys are just all that and then some. And some people would say that that's a cheat code and that makes it easy for you and all that, and you're not a good trainer because of that. Well, I don't think so. I think this is what I like because of the fact they give it to you, the breed. Right? This is a working breed that's been agility, herding, and when you have a herder, whether it's a Australian Shepherd or cattle dog or whatever it is, those are all herders. Cattle dogs more on the farm, but still they're basically been bred to catch that whole genetic stamp in regards to following direction, voice tone, and being able to watch and take signals from the handler to go out and do their job. You see some of those sheep herding dogs. There's a guy in Ireland, or where the heck he's at, he's one of those countries, that has a dogs that he works every day in a very functional manner. He's got a sheep to put in the different pins and to do what he's got to do to move the sheep to where he needs to, and he works sheep herding to a nth degree. This guy's hell on wheels, but he's also got an environment to be able to get that out of an animal. It's pretty cool. But that's what these dogs have been bred to do, you know. Now then they changed the tenacity of the dog, and they went in towards some other stuff within the bloodlines of the KNPV to get more tenacity and more what they wanted in the military and police, right? But with that drive comes a whole different area of understanding of the breed. Most of the time, just getting into some off discussion, if you see an officer out there with a Malinois, most 90% of the cop cars have Malinois in them. They're a very popular breed and they do the job on the street. And then every now and then you'll see a Dutch Shepherd in the back. And if you walk up and talk to that officer, you're probably going to find out that that officer's on to his second, third dog, maybe even more than that. And he's decided to go on and take a Dutch Shepherd. Why? He's familiar with dogs enough that he can have the skill to be able to handle a Dutch Shepherd. A Dutch Shepherd is a dog that has tenacity over the top of a Malinois, even more so. And they're locked to handle. And for a green handler coming out, green dog, green handler, the Dutch Shepherd most of the time is going to be too much dog for that handler. Now there are some Dutchies that are maybe a little calmer, and they match them with an officer because of the fact that the dog is a little bit less tenacity in the work. But they're known to come up the leash, and that excitement level they get into when they're on the street, that goes to a level that is beyond. Now in a war situation, hey, I pity you hear all kinds of stories in regards to some of these podcasts, the SEALs talking about the canines out there doing their job out in the field. And they're all that and then some. I would hate to be on the other end of one to come downfield, that's for sure, in that regard. Now I'm trying to teach him the down, and I'll start working on it now. Good. But I've implanted all this stuff. Good. And now he's learning to wait, right? Good. I'm giving a longer pause in between my delivery. The reason, that's classical conditioning. Good. He's learning to wait, right? So we're turning that on. We're talking. You hear me talking about toggling all this. It's a wiring of the dog. We're toggling the nose to the on position, drive states, all that. It's just understanding the nature of the creature you're working with. And since I've been doing this since I've been about 12 years old, I started dreaming. I'm going to do a podcast on that, talk a little bit about my history and what turns me on, what gets me into what. Why do I like soaking in knowledge so much? It's something I started when I was a young man. We're going to talk about all that. I got to do a podcast on it. I think I'll do one of my little yak sessions out, sitting in my chair in my background video. Good. Good. I'm trying to teach him that's coming to him on the ground. Good. Okay. So I'm going to do that one now. I'm going to start installing that. So he starts learning that good duration means weight. It's coming from me when I go to the down and I stay in that position. Good. Good. Instead of following my hand, right? Nope. Good. He didn't get up. Good. And then tying him with a good marker. Good. And now he's going where he needs to. I don't want him getting up, so we're going to have to do it again. And then break, right? Break and get into some other stuff. Bring up drive with a little spinning. Remember, this is only third day. Okay? I taught him what the hot dogs were the first day. He didn't know what they were. He was kind of chewing and spitting them out. Then I heated them up a little bit to get some more enticement. That nice smell gets going when they're a little warmer instead of being a cold out of the refrigerator. Good. And now I'm installing other little things in the behavior that I want to build onto. Right, we're almost done. Short and sweet. And we're going to end on this, I think. I'm going to start going into my explosion release a little bit more, so I take that into waiting as well, because it's dog's name, pause, and then explode, right? Good. Nope. Good. 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 Okay, think about what I'm doing here. Good. Nope. Nope. I got to catch that little brain before it floats. Good. And then I'll draw my good. My distances of time, right? Duration. Good. Once he figures this out, then I'll start asking for longer duration on how long. Yep. Good boy. Good. Yeah. Good boy. We're done. We're done. Good boy. Tie in your words. Done. Good boy. Good. Okay. Good boy. Done. Yeah. Good boy. Good. There you go. And then we break and we get away from it. It's over with. Right? Good boy. All right. Mark Fresh, Protect Dog Training, playing with Big Boy. Talk to you later.